today's podcast, we have two special guests. We have William and Roxy from Outlaw Equine Rescue and Rehab joining us, and they're also in Tennessee. And if you follow the Horse Rescue Heroes season, the last year's season, there was a whole episode on them. So if you haven't watched it, there is a link in the description of this video, so you'll definitely want to check it out because it was very fun going over there and seeing their place. So how's it been going, guys?
Go.
Like I
It's been
said,
going.
we had a lot of fun when we were there at your place. So there's just a lot of laughter and good things that happen. So anyways, we're starting off laughing because we're all happy. That's good.
Okay, go. So it's been going really good. We've been doing some clearing of more land, and we talked about that when y'all came out about how we were going to clear some land, put some new fencing, try to get some new pastures. So we've been, doing that, and you know how it is when you start to clear land. It's a lot of work
Never
because
ending process.
you get the big stuff out, and then you got to get the small stuff. So, but we're getting there, and one of the big things that we've been doing is drainage, so that we have the water getting diverted the right direction and not just bringing mud in front of our barn. We had about a foot of mud, and we've been anybody that knows Tennessee knows there's a lot of mud in the winter, so we've been dealing with that. But things have been going well, and Roxy will tell you more about the adoption side. We've been, getting in new horses and adopting horses, and we've had, a good run of adopting donkeys out, and people have been really, taking some animals and giving them some good homes, and we're excited to watch them as they send us photos and video of them adapting to their new environment. It's pretty cool to watch. So it's
Awesome.
a good plus side of
Yeah.
what we do, right?
Well, and I can tell you Tennessee in the wintertime, I mean, it rains all the time, but at least in the summertime, it dries out a little more because it's warm, but there is so much mud in the wintertime, and I don't know how many thousands of dollars of material we have brought into Horse Plus, and like every year it gets better because we keep bringing more and more and more in, but you go out and look in the pastures and everyone's just like they're so like you clean them and you groom them and you put them out to pasture and they roll. It's like you found the muddiest place in the pasture to go roll. But I think horses like that. You give them a bath and they'll immediately want to roll. So they don't like being clean.
They definitely don't. My mare is almost all white. She's a Tovero paint, and she
I bet
loves
she
to
looks
be.
great right now.
Yeah, she looks so pretty. And I did make one mistake though before I went on a long trail ride, and I bathed her the day before, and she was sunburnt the day after.
Oh
So I
no.
do give her credit for knowing that she needs natural sunscreen.
Yes, yes. They like the mud.
Yes.
Um,
So
when we were there at your place, you had just rescued this little donkey. And for those who maybe haven't seen the episode, if you can kind of talk about like he was just like abandoned out there on the wilderness and kind of his little story of him coming to you and then what happened like after we left and the cameras weren't there.
So his name, so first of all, we got a call. This is when we very first started the rescue and got a call. We have a wildlife preserve that you can also hunt on near Crossville where we live. Got a phone call that someone was out hunting, and this little long-haired donkey came walking up and wanted to see him, but was obviously fearful. So we took our mini horse and some grain, and William and I and my son Alec went out and lured him to the trailer and got him in, and found out that he was maybe a year old, completely matted. He's a long-haired donkey, which he's very unique looking. Well, the people that found him were unable to keep him at their house, so we offered to keep him here as kind of a virtual adoption. Well, that completely turned into the one of the biggest blessings so far, because he is the one that has the excavator.
Ah,
So, and him and his wife love animals so much that as long as we keep the donkey, he comes over here and does all the excavating, and just we pay him for fuel.
We couldn't do all the things we've been doing without them, and it's pretty exciting. And that donkey is the sweetest donkey, and just kind and sweet. And he recently just got gelded because we took 3 in, and he was one that, spring hit, and he was quite happy about spring.
Mhm.
And and we have, well, especially me, but William and I both have become very attached to these long ears. I mean, especially in rescue, they're dumped so much. And once you get their trust, they are just forever grateful and so sweet, as well as the mules. But so the volunteers came out and de-shedded and de-matted him. He looked like a long-haired cat that had mats. And so now he is all cleaned up and got, his surgery, so he's a much better donkey in society. And that's it. We have him,
And we just put a video of him running around chasing all the other donkeys and mini horses, and
he's
he's just out there playing, with all of his friends. So that's what I said. He's playing with all of his friends.
yeah, he's the almost like a dark, I would call it a bay, almost black
Yeah.
with the lighter. And we did, the reason his name is Bandit is we did a donate to pick a name, and then William did a live video and picked his name out of a hat. And Bandit suits him because he's got the light color around his eyes too. So, but I think he's the youngest that we have here, as far as I think all of them now. But yeah, he's got quite a personality, so he gets a lot of attention. And like I said, we've been blessed with great volunteers, and how that goes, where if he can do something for us that he feels good about, and then we keep his donkey, then it's win-win for everyone, I think. And we tell everybody, yeah, we just came running up to the truck when we pulled up with the horse trailer out there at that wildlife preserve, and was very grateful. So
that's what people don't realize with the rescue world, is sometimes it's not about the money. It's about having people out that know how to do things that I don't know how to do, or have the equipment to do the things that I don't have the equipment to do. And if we do like a trade, then we get what we need, and then all at the same time they donate in a way that they can donate, because they don't have all the money in the world, but they can donate their time. And he has the equipment, so I just put diesel, and if something breaks I repair it. And it just it's a win-win for everybody. So it's a good way of allowing them to donate to the organization in a different way. So,
and that's something we've been trying to push a little bit more recently, is it's not all about monetary donations, because a lot of people want to, like William said, want to help, and they don't have the money, but they have a skill somewhere else, or grant writing, for instance, something that I'm not good at. So that's where we're starting to get more into that. And yeah, I mean, we can't, it's just crazy that we've just barely been over a year, and how well that we've been doing, and having support from y'all, and also the other rescues is huge, because most of them have been doing it longer. And so sometimes you just need to talk to someone that's done it, and realize that, like you said, it's in waves, up and down.
Yeah, no, there's so many waves in rescue, and I think it's like that for everybody though. I think we
Yeah.
just like all of a sudden we have all white horses, and it's like, how did this happen? Or you have all, broken leg
Yeah.
issues during a buyout, and it's like, how did this happen? Or
Yeah.
all blindness, and it's like, how are these things just in waves? But I mean, it's sometimes just you just go with it and you do what you can. So I know
Yeah.
that you a little donkey was just adorable when we were there filming. It was right during your guys' naming program that you were just getting. So I don't think we knew his name yet.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah, so that's so awesome that he's still with you all and you get to keep him there. Now at your facility, you have a lot more than just horses.
We do. Well, let's see, what do we have now? We have horses, we have mules, we have donkeys, we have llamas, we have pigs, We have goats. We've even taken in cats. We did have tortoises, but they don't prefer the cold up here on the plateau. So it did get, negative. I don't even know what it was.
-8.
It was a
So
brutal winter this winter. It was
Yes.
bad.
And so we literally just we rescue pretty much anything. I mean, our goal was equines, obviously, but it's hard not to take in some of the others in need. So
Yeah,
I'm
that's why
still
we have the
waiting for
plus
some.
in our name.
Yeah, I said I'm still waiting for someone to donate a camel, and William doesn't think that's a good idea, but it's just like a large llama.
Yeah. No, I know Peyton at Christian Farms has her camel, and
Yes, I
I've
have
heard
tried.
more destructive stories that he has done. Like just sticks his
But he's so
head and his neck
cute.
through panels and busts the fencing up. I mean, I think it'd be kind of cool to have a camel too, but I don't know. I haven't found any miniature camels yet other than alpacas and llamas. So I think you might be pretty safe just hanging out with them. Otherwise your
Right.
farm will be destroyed.
Yeah, but he's so cute and friendly. I tried to bring him home one day from her house, but he's like 12 foot tall. So how do you get him in a trailer?
He is something else. But yeah, no, I'm like, maybe just get a baby one, He'll be
Yes.
little then. So I don't know. But one of these days, I know that there's an organization, I believe it's in Florida, and they primarily do horses, and they ended up with a camel. So I'm like, could happen.
It could happen. I think that's how Peyton got Ollie, is I
Hmm.
think that, he was, one that because they do the petting zoos and the
Yeah.
safaris. And then when they turn into adults, they want the babies. People want to see babies. So,
Yeah.
but it's just kind of cool to know that we could get a camel if we wanted to.
Yeah. The possibilities are endless in the world of rescue. You never know. From
Especially in Tennessee,
one day to
right?
the next. You just never know. What type of programs? I know you're having like an open house here soon. Maybe talk a little bit about that and how folks could get involved with helping with that.
So in November, we did an open barn fundraiser. We bought a spinning wheel. We had some merchandise, logo merchandise. Got some cupcakes from the local lady that we had gotten cupcakes at Shirley's Cupcakes we did for our wedding. Had the volunteers. We did a silent auction, kind of, you could pet the mini and do things and meet with us. And we had the donkeys all in the barn, and we had, I believe, like 70 people came, and that was in
Awesome.
November. So we hadn't even, we opened in February, so that was 9 months. So we wanted to do that again. And now, you learn each time you do it. So getting a little more organized than we were last time. We had our one mini Maverick out and let people pet him and stuff. And then we just acquired another new mini. So we're going to kind of have them as the star of the show per se.
Aw.
And then have the kids take pictures and things. We bought a background and did things like that. So we're going to be doing another one of those in April. So, and then we're also we have a local, I don't know, it's called like, oh shoot, what's it called? It's like Friday at the Crossroads. So it's a local vendors thing downtown, and they block it off. So we're going to do that this year. Have the Wheel of Fortune, bring the minis because that'll draw people, so, and have our booth set up to get more known in the community, because we also want to start doing, Peyton does all kinds of, interesting things
Photography
to
and
help
yeah, no, she
do.
does.
And I like that she does like the birthday parties
Hmm.
where people, you can come out and the kids can come, and you can bring, X amount of kids, and they can see all the animals and, and things like that. So we're looking into that, and kind of, it's Outlaw Equine Rescue and Rehab, and the Misfit Farm, because all the ones we've kept are the misfits, right?
Yes. Well, and you have that big,
So
beautiful barn there, which is so perfect for events.
exactly. And it's, it keeps the rain off, but it also is shady so that, we get a little warmish in the summer here. And that's another thing with the excavating. He's leveling it all out so it doesn't flood in the barn,
Oh,
and
that's
making the
good.
ground, we can have kind of a round pen situation as well. So we've definitely got some more ideas in the works, and a lot of our recent adopters are all fairly local. And since we're still small enough, we're pretty much friends with everybody that's adopted from us.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So I mean, like I said, it's just been great. And we adopted out a couple horses to some Marine veterans, which was very rewarding. And they have small kids, and these were horses that were, one was dumped, 3 Tennessee walking horses that couldn't breed anymore, and they were dumped, and they took her home, and they love her to death. They got on her and rode her, and she's perfect. And another Tennessee walker that we took in, and felt comfortable that they were going to a home where they weren't going to be bred or things like that. And then we've adopted out a couple kids horses, and then a couple just pasture pets, because people get it in their head that they want to ride everything. Well, I haven't ridden my horse in a year because I've been busy, but I still want her in the backyard.
Yeah, who rides
Yeah, and I
horses
think that's
anymore?
an important part that you're bringing out is sometimes people are like, well, I can't adopt a horse because I don't ride. And,
Right.
We encourage people to, if they have the land and the ability to have a horse and the financial,
Right.
there's lots of horses that come through here that aren't riding horses, like they're pasture pets. And I think one of the saddest things I see is when we have adoptions and somebody's standing next to the horse, it might be a little bit heavier. And we're like, hey, so-and-so got adopted. And they just tear the poor adopter apart. I'm like, there's horses that don't get ridden. Like,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
so frustrating that somebody can see somebody with a horse and just be so negative. It's like, here's somebody who's adopting a horse. Like, that's a huge financial commitment.
Right.
There's so many horses that need homes. And or it's a parent and they don't want their kid who is going to be riding the horse, they don't want them in the photo, because they're trying to keep their kid out of social media,
Right.
so they stand next to the horse and people are like, oh my, why are you adopting a horse? I'm like, oh please, can we just be nice? People online just love to jump to conclusions, and I think, there's a lot of people that would adopt horses if they're like, it's okay to get a horse and not ride it. If you
Right.
have a
And
young
like,
horse that's 3 years old, it needs to go into training. It needs to learn those skills so it has a safety net for its life. Like you said, the
right.
Tennessee walking horses, they got it, they were able to ride it. It makes them highly, highly adoptable if they have education. But if you have
Correct.
an older horse or a horse that has problems, like we need more people to be adopting them. And we need people to be nice when we post the adoption photos.
Yes. And that was one thing that I made sure that when the kids were adopting, that I verified it was okay that I post their child with
Mhm.
the horse, and
Yeah.
double check, because I mean, you know how much it warms your heart when you see a young girl. We were young girls that loved horses.
Hmm.
So when you see a young girl and she actually bonds with the horse, and it's just the feeling is just so incredible, and just seeing them, be with them. And like I said, this other gal that we just met, she took one of our donkeys, and he was pretty fearful, but she's been working with him. And then we got a retired Amish horse, that couldn't be ridden, and she's just so excited to have him in her backyard. And she still wants a riding one, so we're gonna find one for her. And I have one that she likes. We're gonna work with her and make sure it's a safe fit, not just because it's pretty.
Yeah.
And then she's close enough, I'll probably trail her over and we'll ride together.
There
and
you go.
and she's willing to eat. They have 50 acres, and once they get more fencing, even willing to take more of our pasture pets that have so much love to give. But maybe you can't ride them. I mean, and
Yeah.
and like you said, that's okay. We don't, you know riding them is, I guess, to me, now that I'm getting older, is like a young person's thing. Like right now, we just glad to be out there and with them, and and when you're around them, how much love they have to get and how therapeutic they are.
Yeah, they're herd animals and they're very social and they like to be with you. And
Right.
I think that's something like, that could be advocated a lot throughout the rescue world is these horses just need homes. And if
Right.
we're able to provide a good home, I mean, even
Right.
boarding stables, like you can take your horse for walks, you can do all these things with your horse. You don't have to ride it if you're not able to ride. And if
Correct.
big horses scare you, they come in little sizes. So get a miniature horse
And that's,
or get a
and
donkey.
that's so beneficial here, because I have a group of ladies that came from a situation of helping like mentally handicapped adults with horses. Well, the horses they worked with were literally dead broke, like they didn't do anything. Well, when they all came here, we had to have talks about, these are rescue horses, we don't know their history. So but then one of my best volunteers, she weighs about 110 pounds soaking wet, so she loves the pigs and the minis, and that's it. And I had a couple come out, to my volunteers, Lori and Sharon, come yesterday, and they just brushed horses, because you know what time of year it is. So
Everything's
the
shedding,
mud and
muddy
the
and stuff.
hair, and that's the thing that, like you said, just trying to explain, like they're just happy to come here. And yesterday, even, I didn't have them do any work. I said, we're just going to enjoy horses today and brush horses. We aren't going to worry about cleaning stalls and doing any of that. Let's just enjoy. And one of the horses that they were brushing was one of the Tennessee Walkers. 3 came in together from a breeder that couldn't use them anymore, so she didn't want them. And this poor horse has the worst roachback I've ever seen in my entire life. And her back end is wobbly, and I took her to the vet to see if she was in pain, because I don't want her to be in pain. And she's not. She's just looks crippled up, because they started her in Big Lick, and
Yeah.
she has the cut tail. And I was so grateful that we did not have to do any, but she was able to come back and be adopted, and because she's the sweetest. And she just stood in the pasture while they groomed her. She was
Aw.
so grateful, and it made my heart so happy, because she is such a nice horse.
That's so
But
wonderful.
And she
Yeah.
gets along with other horses, and that's what people don't realize is because they are a herd animal. If they need a horse, that say one of their horses passed and they needed a horse to go into the pasture with their horse, it would be a good fit because she would be able to go in because she doesn't fight with any of the horses. She just gets along. We've had several different horses in with her, and every single horse we put in with her, they become pals.
Yeah.
They start running around together, and they do everything together. So that's exciting to know that she's not in pain. She's going to be able to,
Yeah.
be a pet for someone. The vet did say that she's probably not going to be ridden, but
Yeah.
that's
No, I
definitely.
mean, they break down a lot doing the Big Lick. But as long as they're pain free and there's a wonderful home, like, no
Yeah.
matter
And
what the person's size is compared to the horse, like let's get the horse into a home and let's all support those amazing people for adopting horses, because
yeah.
we need homes
And
for horses.
well, and I think she's one too, to educate people with the corruption of Big Lick, because she's 8 years old,
Oh,
and she literally, her back is roached, and then it goes so far down, and then with their gait, her back legs look wobbly, and so, but the veterinarian was like, no, she actually looks pretty good. And you could probably put a kid up on her and have them walk around the pasture or something, and she might even enjoy that.
yeah.
But I mean, I think literally, like, just to me, for her, and we still are going to get her adopted out, but the education that comes along with all of that, which is why we're in rescue, where a breeder got her, oh, she's papered, yada, yada, yada. And then you bring 3 to us because you can't breed them. So you're throwing them away. And, pull at the heartstrings from us, and if you don't take them, we're going to take them to auction. So
Mhm.
I couldn't let that happen.
Yeah.
And we, like I said, 2 of them have already gone to great homes. And now that we just took her to the vet yesterday, found out that she is, able to not be in pain and be adopted. I mean, it's pretty amazing. And so many people don't know about Big Lick, even in their own state.
Yeah,
So,
I think it's interesting. The last time I went to Washington, D.C., I took stacks and chains and
uh,
letting the people like hold them. They're like in a picture, you can be like, okay.
wow.
But when you actually hold
Yeah,
a stack that's over 8 pounds and think this is connected to a horse
right.
and
I
the
know.
amount of weight, like, I mean, it's very eye-opening. And I think
Yeah,
Blick is something that, these horses need to be trained and showed for their natural abilities. And
right.
it's really sad within the walking horse world, they're all after this artificial look and they're breeding for that and they're showing for that. And that's where the big money is. And they're actually losing the true Tennessee walking horse natural gait.
Right, because they are natural.
Yes. And
Yeah.
it's the artificial, that big lick is what's artificial. And I think it's so sad that we have a breed of horse in the United States that has so much positive history behind it. And it's such an amazing horse with a beautiful natural gait. And within, the more recent years of that horse's history in the United States, it's being manipulated and twisted into an artificial look, and that natural breed is disappearing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh,
if it doesn't stop, it's going to be gone, and
Right.
it's going to be basically like a standard bred or something. It's they're losing that natural ability because of this breeding for the big lick, and I think that's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
and the
Exactly.
Tennessee walking horse, when you see one and you see him run across the pasture, it's the most beautiful thing you'll ever see. If
Mhm.
it's that natural gait that they're born with, and and people really enjoy to ride that kind of horse because it's smooth and it doesn't like take your vertebrae out.
They're
We ride those
nice
choppy quarter
to,
horses.
yeah, they're very nice to ride, but I will say if you have a quarter horse, well, maybe you have like 3/4 horses on a ride and 3 Tennessee walking horses, those people are not going to be riding together because the Tennessee walkers have a much faster walk than the poor quarter horses are like, why are we trying to keep up with these guys?
And we're back there like this,
Yes,
getting beat up.
yes, no, Tennessee walking horses are amazing, amazing horses. And I know the PAST Act is getting a lot of support in Washington, D.C., which ultimately could end it all together and show these horses their natural abilities because they're amazing.
Correct.
But
Yeah.
I'm so glad you're able to get 3 more from going to auction and helping them.
So,
That's
well,
amazing.
those 3 were actually before I got them, before they went to auction.
Yeah, that's what
brought
I meant to say is like
Yeah.
you got them before they went to auction. Yeah.
Correct. And then we ended up last auction we ended up buying, he looks like a big appendix. He's about 19, 16 probably, just a mess, sweet old boy. And we have to take some of those ones. This auction is a little higher end, so we didn't see as many bad ones, and we ended up getting and this is again what people in rescue, whether it's cats, dogs, anything, a registered spotted saddle horse
Hmm.
that is black and white, absolutely gorgeous. He's beautiful stride and all this. And the reason we were able to get him at a price we could afford is because the rider didn't know what he was doing and was yanking on his head and making him rear up in the well, what do you want to call it? The sale pen
Auction ring.
there.
Yeah.
Auction ring. Yeah, I couldn't. And I told William, I said, those are the ones, because I can guarantee you that we work with that horse. He's not going to rear up because we're not going to yank all over his head.
Mhm.
And both of them, my son used to live here, but his best friend now lives with us. He's like a second son. And he fell in love with Daryl. He's the big red appendix. And Daryl just got his teeth done and had his bill of sale look good. Now we just got to put some weight on it. But another just so kind and so sweet, and the spotted saddle horse, like you can just tell. I mean, they're just coming out of quarantine, so we kind of let him decompress, and then I'll start working with him. And that's the gal Terry that adopted from us. I'm going to give her lessons here, and we're going to work and see if he will fit. You know, we don't want to send a horse home that's not a good fit, but
and he's such a sweet horse. Yeah, I go out there to feed every day, and you know, I really think that they sense that we're a different type of person, because you know,
Oh
when
yeah.
we go out there, they come up to the fence, they want to get some loving.
they
You know,
whinny.
obviously they want feed, but I mean, even when they're not, you know, even when they're fed, and I'm walking out there, you know, they come up to the fence, they want to get some pets, and just the sweetest horse, you know, and he has a really good, you know, I just believe that he's going to be a really good horse for somebody. And you know, I mean, you want to keep all of them that are really good horses, you know, but you have to force yourself to like get them to good homes, because you know, I mean, you know, you don't want somebody to, you know, take them and mess them up after we, you know, give them all that love. So it's really about finding the right person for the right horse. And yeah, and that's what's fun about this, is finding the right person for the right horse. And when it really works out and you see that bond, that's pretty cool to watch. So
Now he's going to make me cry.
Yes.
It
Well,
also made
I
me
think that
think.
just sums up why we do what we all do, is we are
Yeah.
rescuing these horses out of really horrible situations, but it's getting them into homes that's the most rewarding part
Yeah.
of rescue, is giving that horse
It
that second chance, or that animal or tortois or whatever animal comes your way.
And when even the humans, when they, you know, it makes them feel good as well, and knowing, and because they're, I mean, like I said, we're still small. All of our doctors, they're true animal lovers, which is what we all are. I mean, that's what got us into all this, because we're truly care about the animals. And it just made me think, we just took in a Belgian draft mule who was a retired Amish horse, which, you know, we get a lot of those. And those poor animals, I mean, you have to take the good with the bad on those, but whenever we get them, we just don't expect anything. We give them treats and pet them, because to them, every time you go out, you're bringing them in for 13, 16-hour day of work, and then throwing them back in the pasture. And this William saying I can't keep them all. I did decide I am keeping the draft mule, because he's pretty amazing. And his head's about 3 feet long. So I posted a picture with me next to him, and I'm 5'7", and I look short. So once he gains some weight, but he's, you know, again, those retired horses, once they get to their new homes and realize I don't have to work, I just get love. And once in a while, if I let them catch me, someone might get on and ride around the pasture, but you know, and it's understandable. And I think rescue too is about seeing both sides of things, especially with the Amish community, because you have to respect their side as well. And then we just come in to take up the slack, you know, I think. But you know, without beating down anyone else, I think it's like in life, everything's a balance, and everybody has their own story, you
I
know,
think
so we don't judge.
it's important to realize it's in every culture there is horrible things that happen. And in
Mm-hmm.
every culture there's amazing people that do amazing things for people and animals. And I've seen that firsthand in the Amish community. I've seen it in so many different communities. And I think it's very important it's very easy for us to all jump on a bandwagon. And yes, there's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of change that needs to happen, but there's also good people out there too.
Yes,
So
and
before we
and I don't
wrap up, oh, go ahead.
I just don't feel that, you know, for, like you said, the bandwagon, they're doing their culture and they're doing their thing, and then we just take up the slack for the animals, because you know that's what we're advocating for. But we, you know, like you said, on social media, people love to jump on the negative bandwagon, but it's way better to jump on the positive bandwagon, and be out there and be supportive instead of not.
If everyone had a supportive spirit on social media, This
Yeah.
world would be a different place. But speaking of social
Yes.
media, I know William has worked very hard on, I know, like the videos and whatnot. How can people go find you, and what social media platforms are you all on? And I'm going to let you take this, William, because you've kind of been over there smiling and not saying too much. It's easy to
Well,
let the ladies talk.
we are on YouTube, and it's Outlaw Rescue at Outlaw Rescue, and then we have a TikTok at Outlaw Rescue, and we take everything and put it over onto our Facebook and to our Instagram as well, and then on our Facebook and Instagram, it links to the website so that you can go into the website and see the horses that are adoptable, and kind of get an idea of what we have at this moment. But I have spent a lot of time doing videos and trying to get better at it, and then I get busy helping clear land, and then I put the video down for a while, so I need to pick it back up and keep people hey, we haven't seen a video for a while, and I'm like, oh man, so I have to jump back on there and do a video. So the followers really keep us going. They're like, hey, we want to see what's going on, how you guys doing, so they're really interested. So it's been fun to see people take an interest in the organization through the
That's
YouTube
awesome.
and TikTok videos. So
Awesome. Well, I will
Yeah,
put those
and
links in the description of this video. So if you're watching this, go check out their YouTube, their website, and Facebook. And I just want to thank both of you so much for doing this podcast. And I hope people head over to your website, and they also need to watch that episode that you're all in. So
that was a
hopefully,
good episode.
yes, hopefully everyone does that. And just thank you all so much for what you do to help horses and animals, because it's everyone coming together and doing what we can, and that's what's going to bring a positive change in this world. So thank you all so much for taking the time to do this podcast.
Well, thank you as well, and always we appreciate your mentorship and your examples that you set, along with our network of rescues that you brought together. I think it's like I said, been a blessing, and I tell people still all the time how long I've been following you.
It's been a
and
long
literally out
time. It's been a long
and
time.
literally out in Tennessee, right?
It was in California years back. You were
Years
following us
years,
way
yeah, and
back.
here we are doing our thing. So we appreciate you
Awesome.
guys so much.
Well, thank you so much, and keep doing the amazing work you're doing.
All right, thank you.
thank you, Tawnee. We appreciate you.